This is going to be my attempt to do the right thing in this situation, even though I can't really do the right thing. I can't really say the right words or attempt to look like I'm doing something good. But I need to apologize first and foremost for the Twitter video. I should have waited. It was rushed. I was nervous and gave into fear, and that was selfish and not fair to the people that deserve a true apology. I am willing to apologize to people directly if that is something that they would like, but that is not something that I will be reaching out for. That's not my place. I want to respect the space and distance that if they feel they need for forever, that is completely up to them. So in this video, I will want to make very clear that the Twitter video where it sounded like I was claiming I was a victim, I want to make that very clear that I am not a victim in this situation, and that there is no excuse for my behavior. There is no way to gloss over it, and the things that I did were unacceptable, and I took something from people. I took memories and events, and they're now clouded and darkened by my selfish and reckless behavior. Being inappropriate with these people robbed them of their sense of safety and security, and it broke trust, and I am deeply sorry. I hope that even if you think I'm not being sincere or you don't believe my sense of sadness over it, I hope that now that you were able to say it, you can move past it so that I am no longer inflicting that pain passively on you after all this time. I'm very deeply saddened that I did this to people that I thought were friends. I considered friends and I cared about, and I had no intention for this to happen, but that does not excuse it, and that does not make it any less painful. The situations and the things that took place were brought to my attention 2 years ago, and I immediately went into therapy, realizing that I was living a terrible life. Some of these were not made aware to me until very recently, and I'm willing to give direct apologies to people if that is something that they would like, but again, that's not my place to seek that out. I will leave that to them. So the actions of me, my actions in these years, 2 and 3 years ago, are actions that I am ashamed of and embarrassed by. They are reprehensible and indefensible, and I've spent 2 years trying to process and grow from them, and I'm still committed to that. Therapy saved my marriage, and it saved my life, and fundamentally in this time, I hope that others can get to a place of healing as well and not feel stuck. If you support me and this has created anxiety and sadness and it's disruption, it's caused disruption for you, I am sorry, and I hope that no one has to feel bad on my account. Do not feel pity for me. Do not feel bad for me. Feel bad for people who felt unsafe and then felt that they couldn't say anything. Hopefully more people can speak up as well about instances if they were in similar scenarios. And I am just going to continue to say that I'm sorry for speaking and being inappropriate with people to the point that they felt unsafe and had to confront me. I wish I could take it back. I wish I could give you back those memories and those times and have them be sweet, but I can't. So the best I can do, and really the only thing I can do, is just make it very clear that I am sad, sorrowful, and sorry, and regret what I did. I do feel I need to make clear there are some things in the accusations that I don't remember. They don't seem to be part of my memory of the events. I may need to do a second video and just give my side of things, because my side of the story isn't important right now, but I did want to clarify 2 particular things: unwanted sexual advances and unwanted touching. To my recollection and my memory of these instances, there was no unwanted sexual advances. I made sexual remarks and jokes and comments that were completely inappropriate, and I should not have done that. but I was not making advances. There was only one time where I was told to stop. I had said something to the effect of, when I'm high on weed, I'm sexually awakened. And that was not an advance in my mind. And at the time, that wasn't even what I was thinking about. And when they said to stop talking about it, I did. All the other instances, my memory and recollection, are jokes or comments or being completely inappropriate or too sexually forward, but not an offer or an advance. I also have no memory of anybody rejecting an advance and then me persisting beyond that. All of the stories that I read, I did take the time to read them, indicated that I crossed the line of being inappropriate, and then they felt that it was an advance. To me, I think it's important to distinguish this category, that I went to these events and behaved in a way that's indefensible, but I did not, in my recollection of the events and in my memory, I did not harass and seek out and persist in unwanted advances. The only story that says I specifically asked for sex, my memory of that story, of that time, and when I say story, I'm not being like denigrating. I have my own story. I don't remember that. I don't remember it being that way. I don't remember it going that way. And then the unwanted touching, I have no recollection and no memory whatsoever of an instance where I was touching somebody and they were saying to stop and I continued. There was the touching of hair. I remember that. And I admit that is completely unacceptable. That's a very invasive thing to do to somebody. It makes them very uncomfortable. But then the touching of the leg, that is not how that went down. I had my hand on a table and their leg ended up underneath the table and against my hand, and I should have moved it, but I didn't. And in these instances, neither time did I feel there was a sense of I touched, was told to stop, and continued. And in neither instance did I initiate like a physical touch. Touching of the hair, I will admit, was inappropriate. But again, this was not done in a way of like assault or a way that was groping. The hair was, again, in my mind, it was a very innocent thing. Their hair dropped down, I touched it and asked about, what it feels like when you dye your hair a color. And then the leg thing. The only reason I am making this indication is not to defend myself. I just feel the categories of harassment for unwanted advances and for unwanted touching, I don't feel I fell into those categories. My memories of the events are being with people and becoming far too comfortable and intimate in my conversations and statements, and that is unacceptable, and I should not have done that. I do not have memories of these instances where I touched or made advances that were rejected. Many of these instances didn't lead to anything. There was never a no or get away from me. Friendships continued. So I continued wrongfully thinking that everything was fine. And that is on me for not being aware of myself and not being aware of my actions. So as far as streams and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some time with the family and as well as my therapist and just take some time away. I don't know how long. Obviously, I have to make a living, and I do feel like continuing to stream is something that I will do. And if you feel that you can't support me anymore, I understand that. I don't expect people to just overlook glaring character flaws. I have tried to be very transparent and open about how I've been in therapy for 2 years, and I started at a time where I was dark, in a dark place, self-destructive, and I was a bad person. I've tried to own up to that and be honest with you guys, and that I'm pursuing this therapy to better my marriage and better me as a person, and I'm going to continue in that commitment. Obviously, businesses and sponsorships are immediately breaking ties with me. I completely respect their decision to do that. I didn't expect anything different once everything hit. And I just continue to hope that the people that I hurt can heal and move past it in their own way and in their own time and not feel a cloud hanging over them anymore. And if this has been hard for you to hear and endure, please talk to somebody. Don't let this be damaging to you in any permanent sort of way. Like, I know a lot of people use streams for mental health, and and ways to relax. And this is very, very disruptive, and I am sorry about that. So my approach to this video was just to make sure at the beginning I owned and made zero excuses for my behavior, but I did want to qualify what I felt did and did not happen. If I feel a video is needed to tell my side of the story so people can get the full details of each each encounter, because I do think some of the things that have been said, and especially the very long story that was written, most of that I don't think is accurate to what happened, but I don't think that that's important right now to get down into the specifics of that. There's probably a time and place for me to correct some of that, but not in a video where my main focus is to apologize, clarify what did not happen, what did happen, and then let you know that there will be a break in streams for some time. I don't know how long, but that is where we are. And thank you so much. And that's it.